This week on Deer Gear TV, we spotlight two new Garmin products, the ZeroC2 Chronograph and the L60i Laser Range Finder. Plus, Wade joins us at camp with deer stand safety tips, and George Cummins shares advice on preparing food plots for deer season. When Garmin introduced the Zero Chronograph, shooters immediately embraced it for its simplicity and reliable speed data. Now, Garmin raises the bar with the new Xero C2 Chronograph. Built on the success of the original, this model is packed with meaningful upgrades. Here to tell us more is Rehan Nana from Garmin.
Hi, Rehan Nana with Garmin. First and foremost I want to tell you about is the Garmin Xero C2 Chronograph. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with the Garmin Xero C1, which was launched in 2023. This is the updated version of it. You can notice it's the same form factor, pocket size, really light, easy, highly accurate, but we've added some really cool new features to it, including the ability to just rapid fire. So you have the ability to shoot up to 10 shots per second with this, and it just picks them up like lightning. So one of the other features that's really awesome about the Garmin Xero C2 is the ability just to control everything off of your phone or from your watch. It will sync everything over, so you can see those shots going right there, have the ability to end a session, end it on that and on your watch, and if you'd like, you can go back and start an old session, just going through right here, for example, hit resume, and it'll automatically kick everything over on that side. Really awesome little unit, brand new. Check it out at Garmin.com.
Now, let's head to the range, where Chad Van Camp puts the Xero C2 Chronograph to work and shows us its features in real-world conditions.
So we're going to check out this Suppress 22. So we're going to select New Session, and we're going to pick Rifle, and then it's subsonic, so it's going to be in that 600 to 1700 foot per second range, so we'll pick that, and it's ready to go. So I'll just turn it around, put the Garmin sign down range, and start shooting. So when you open the ShotView app and the chronograph's running, and if it's in the middle of a session, you're going to see live session at the top. I pick that, and I get a kind of recreation of the chronograph screen, so I can see we took 10 shots. Our average is 1042 feet per second. Our SD is 13.6, and our extreme spread is 50.4. And I can see those shots on the graph, and then I can see all those shots in the shot list. So I'll go mark the first one as a cold bore and a clean bore. Save that. And then it marks that with the icon below. I can also then go in and I can define what rifle that is if I so choose, and what ammunition I was using. Can also end the session from the app, so I can just say done, and the session saves off, and now it's in my app as a Rifle 4 session. I can rename that session and it shows me the data. If I want, I can pick that session and I can say resume. It will reinitialize the chronograph, and now I can restart that session and add more shots to it. And those shots will appear here in real time, and they will appear in the graph below as they come in. Awesome. So a neat thing about the C2 is you can start sessions from the app. So you can get all set up on your bench, put the chronograph out, all you have to do is have it turned on. And I can say new session here. And for this case, we're going to shoot this 45. So we're going to do rifle, but in this particular case, it's below 1700 feet per second. So we're going to change that to the slower velocity range. And then we're going to hit start. It will initialize the chronograph, and now we're ready to shoot. So now we're going to take a look at this MSR. New session again. Rifle, this time our velocity range is going to be in that 1700 to 5000 feet per second. I'll edit the session title and enter the rifle configuration and bullet configuration later, but I'll just hit start. Device boots up, app syncs up, it's ready to go. Okay, so we took 25 shots with the MSR. We ended the session. We decided we wanted to shoot another magazine. So I'll go back into this session, I'll open it, and now I'll say resume. It will initialize and sync with the device on the table. And when it's ready, this was our last shot, our 25th shot, and we'll shoot 25 more. There's our 54 shots with an average of 35 feet per second. And now we show all the shots that we took in 2 different instances of collecting data. And then when we're done, we just hit the done button at the top and saves off the session, and we can come back to it later if we want. In a day, a week, a year, doesn't matter, it'll restart that chronograph for that same session that we were in. This is the new rifle mount for the C2. It's got a Picatinny side and an Arca side. So for this particular rifle, we're going to put the Picatinny on, and then we'll just take the base off the C2 and put this on here. Thread that into the 1/4-20 on the bottom, and we're ready to shoot. We can either start a session from the device or we can start a session from the ShotView app. For this 9mm carbine, we're going to hit new session. We're going to pick rifle. We're going to slow our speed range down to the slower range. Hit start. It'll kick on the C2 and we're ready to shoot. So 13 shots, 1,307 feet per second average.
The ZeroC2 Chronograph delivers improved features that give hunters and shooters an experience you won't find anywhere else. Tracking up to 10 shots per second with rapid-fire support, with a velocity range from 100 to 5,000 feet per second, offering versatile and reliable performance across a wide range of firearms. The ZeroC2 allows you to resume sessions with the same firearm or switch between different setups, while pairing seamlessly with the ShotView app and compatible Garmin smartwatches to view live data and manage your sessions. Designed for flexibility, the ZeroC2 can be mounted to your rifle and accurately captures shots from suppressed firearms, as well as firearms equipped with muzzle brakes or compensators. That's a look at the all-new ZeroC2 Chronograph from Garmin. For more information, visit Garmin.com. Coming up, we take a closer look at Garmin's new L60i Laser Range Finder, a compact, high-performance tool built to give hunters faster readings and more confidence in the field. We'll walk through the features that make it a standout, from its different HUD settings, speed, and clarity, to the technology that helps you make better decisions when it counts. When it comes to ranging targets in the field, speed and accuracy matter. The Garmin Xero L60i Range Finder is built to deliver both, combining precision performance with intuitive design. Here to tell us more is Rehan Nana from Garmin.
Hi, I'm Rehan Nana with Garmin. I'm here to tell you about our newest product, the Garmin Xero L60i Laser Range Finder. This is a revolutionary new device. It's the only device that's got onboard GPS mapping capabilities, high resolution digital screen with absolutely incredible optics on it. This device, your first thing you're going to notice is a large 32mm 7x objective lens, which is going to give you a really generous exit pupil. When we were designing this, the one thing that we wanted to make sure of is that we did not sacrifice optical quality just because it's a rangefinder. So when you're looking through this, you'll notice that this is just world-class glass. Put a lot of the Garmin technology that you know and love with it. Has the ability to range out to 2,000 yards to trees in full sun and 1,500 to animals. When you range, it's automatically going to drop those points onto the device itself. Because of the onboard mapping and navigation, it will also kick them over to your phone or a handheld or a watch. So you don't have to do any of the saving, anything like that. This has a host of really cool sensors and features in it, and because of that, we have the ability to do really unique things. One of those is going to be called sensor locate. So if you're past the max range of what this is capable of doing, it's going to kick over into sensor locate mode. It's going to use the GPS, the inclinometer, the compass, and the topographical maps in there to intersect a point in space. So you can actually range something. If it's 8 miles away, you can actually range it, and this will drop a point for you so that you can navigate to it. Another really cool feature about it is called visual recall. So let's say you've got an animal that's 800 yards to your northwest, and you need to get a new vantage point on it. You move 400 yards east, 200 yards up in elevation. This will actually guide you directly in to where you were previously looking. You can use Garmin Share, and it will send the point from one device to another device, so you both can be looking at the exact same thing. With it, it has different HUDs, so you have different profiles. It has applied ballistics native to this. You can get windage and elevation off of it. It also has archery profiles on it, so you have the ability to see actually impact angle, your flight apex, and other information. So with all those features, it's pretty much everything you'd ever want right here in one rangefinder. If you want to learn more, go to Garmin.com.
Now, Patrick from Garmin takes us into the field to break down the Garmin L60i Range Finder.
This has been years in the making. I've been waiting to share this with you guys. This is our all-new L60i laser rangefinder. This thing is absolutely awesome. It does everything that any other traditional rangefinder will do. Obviously, you click a button, you get a range. However, you can also recall that range. So I could pass it to Gentry or Wade and say, hey, look at what I just ranged. It'll direct them back to exactly that point. You can also use it to navigate. Everything that you range with this device will create a waypoint that you could then send to a watch or a handheld or any other Garmin device or to the app on your phone and actually navigate to that waypoint. So it's an awesome new rangefinder. There's tons of features in this thing. We'll talk about it a little bit more once we get up in the stand and we start playing around with it. But man, am I excited to show you the new L60i laser rangefinder.
So another really cool feature of this L60i rangefinder is that it's actually giving you a diagram of a deer looking at you. So when you take a range, it'll notice the angle of the range and then give you a diagram of how your arrow is going to impact an animal. And so it's really cool because I'm able to sit here and range where I think a deer might be standing at 18 yards. And it's giving me an impact angle of 19 degrees. So that's really helpful, especially for tree stand hunting, so that you know, do you need to aim a little higher because your arrow's going downwards, or do you need to aim a little lower because your arrow's going upwards? So another really cool feature of this rangefinder.
Go to Garmin.com for more information on the Zero L60i laser rangefinder. Up next, we catch up with Wade Middleton at camp for his take on proper ladder stand setup and the steps he uses to keep everything secure and stable in the field. And later in the show, we turn things over to George Cummins as he breaks down the benefits of food plots and how the right approach can make a real difference on your property. We're back at camp with Wade Middleton, and this time he's taking us through his approach to setting up a ladder stand. He'll share the key steps he focuses on to keep everything secure and stable in the field, along with the small details that make a big difference once you're up there.
Ladder stands have become one of my favorite ways to hunt. Maybe it's because I've gotten a little older and it's harder to climb up into some of those lock-ons. I still definitely hunt out of the lock-ons and love them because it's hard to beat the versatility, and there are some incredible ones out there. But a ladder stand is a simple item that, once it's built, and it's by nature, they're gonna be, 18 to probably 22 feet tall. I like the muddy ones and I like the hawk ones. They both are extra wide, a lot of room in there, which is easy to set in, very comfortable. They've got a great bracing system that goes up against the tree. In my opinion, what I like to do is use a multitude of straps to lock them into place, keep them very secure, because so often I put up a ladder stand and I'm going to use it for 2 or 3 years if I get in the right place. And if I don't, I just unhook my straps and lower it back down and move it a few feet, or move it 100 yards, or move it to the other end of the property. You know, a lot of them come with rests for the rifle and crossbow hunters if they, you know, want to rest it on something to shoot. I like to take the rest off a lot of times for when we're bow hunting, give me a little more room. I really like the flip up seats, gives me more room if I'm in a standing hunting situation, so that I've got a lot of extra room. I like the bigger platforms on them on those situations. They're very comfortable. I like, you know, to be able to hang things off. That makes it very easy to brush them in and give you more cover in certain situations, especially when the leaves begin to fall. So when it comes to a ladder stand, very simple, very easy to use. You know, follow the directions, get a buddy or two to go with you to set it up. Make sure it's really, really secure. Use your straps. Really use every strap that comes with it, and don't be afraid to go down to Home Depot or someplace like it and get a few extra straps. In fact, Muddy actually makes some very heavy duty straps that are, in my opinion, perfect for extra weight, extra security. We use them in several different positions to be able to lock in our ladder stands and our lock-ons. You can, you know, they've got big hooks with big bites and a big webbing to be able to last several years. The next thing I like to do, obviously, use a safety line. Bring you a good safety line with a Persic knot, have your harness on, get it tied in at the top, have it tied in at the bottom, hook yourself in. 3 points of contact every time you're climbing up the ladder. You know, when you go forward, you're keeping as much as you can on there. Don't overweight yourself, don't get in a hurry. At the end of the day, man, it's a great way to hunt, very comfortable way to hunt. I think you get, you know, with a good lifeline up there and you're wearing your safety harness, it's a great way to get drawn or get the gun up to find success, no matter where you're hunting nationwide. You just got to find a tree to make it work.
Coming up, George Cummins breaks down why food plots matter and the seed choices that help them thrive. He'll walk us through what makes a food plot successful, why he prefers smaller seeds, and how a little planning can make a big difference on your property. Welcome back to the show. We're heading back out with George Cummins as he explains why food plots play such a key role in managing deer activity. He'll share what makes a plot successful, why he prefers certain seeds, and how choosing the right blend can make a real difference on your property.
One of the things that I like to do in Kentucky is definitely put in the food plots just to help draw in more deer. Okay, if you're just throwing feed out on the ground, that's great, you're gonna bring in a few deer, but when you put out food plots, if you're gonna have a year-round food source. So these food plots really help bring in deer all year long and bring in new deer. Let's say you let a feed pile run out. No feed on the ground, he's gone, may not ever come back. If you got food plots out here, he's gonna discover it and he's gonna know that that is a food source now. So whenever you're doing a food plot, there's several different ways of doing it. Not everybody has a tractor, not everybody has a tiller, not everybody has a seed drill. So look for a particular type of seed that you may want in your area. You know, you may have to till, you may have to fertilize, but I personally love using smaller seeds like your brassicas, your clovers, turnips, stuff like that, because you can get by with a minimum amount of tillage. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that doesn't really need a lot of fertilizer, doesn't need a lot of chemicals to be sprayed. So that's why I really like our fall food plot mixes, because it's minimum amount of maintenance. So this particular food plot we put in is a little over an acre. We didn't really have a whole lot of time to come in and spray, so what I did is I brought a bush hog in, mowed it as low to the ground as I could get it, and then I come in with a tiller and tilled it down about 6 inches deep. That's gonna kill all the sod, all the weeds, anything that was growing here. But then you have to run a cultipacker over it before you put this seed out. That's the #1 mistake that a lot of people make when they're doing food plots. They get a really, really good seed bed, but then they don't cultipack it. So you really, really need to run that cultipacker over, so it's gonna help hold in moisture for those small plants as they're growing. After you've cultipacted the soil and you have a nice firm seed bed, then you wanna go in and seed. With these smaller seeds, I really like to use a hand seeder. It's very easy if you use a large seeder that may go on the front or the back of a side-by-side, that if you have that gap too wide, you're gonna put all of your seed down in the first pass or two. You don't wanna do that because the seed's pretty expensive. Once we seed this, we're gonna come back with the cultipacker again, and we're just gonna run over top of that seed. Another mistake that people make with these smaller seeds especially is they get them too deep. If you get them over 1/8 of an inch deep, a lot of times they won't sprout. They just don't have enough to punch through that soil. When you start farming for deer, and that's what I call it, when you put out these food plots, you're basically farming for deer. It's just rewarding. You know, there's a lot to it, but it definitely makes it worth it when you kill Maybe it's your biggest buck of your lifetime, maybe it's your kid's biggest buck, maybe it's your friend's first buck. It's just rewarding. You know, when you start farming for these animals, it means a lot.
That's going to wrap things up for this episode of Deer Gear TV. We took a look at Garmin's new products, the ZeroC2 Chronograph and L60i Laser Rangefinder. Two tools designed to give hunters more accurate information in the field. We also spent some time with Wade Middleton at camp as he walked us through his approach to ladder stand setup and the steps he takes to keep everything secure. George Cummins shared why food plots matter and how choosing the right seed can make a difference on your property. Thanks for joining us. For more in-depth content, be sure to visit our website at deergeartv.com and our YouTube channel at Deer Gear TV. We'll see you next time. This has been a Careco TV production.